51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, you are in for one cracker of a video today. You guys know my rule. The longer the video is, the better the racing is. Trust me, you do not want to miss out on this video. I understand it's long, but just sit back, relax, and enjoy on the edge of your seat action. Guys, this video is starting off crazy already and we're not even on the track yet. It is round number 8 at France at the Le Castellet circuit. But guys, look at the performance chart. Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull are separated by a few pixels, with Red Bull leading the way in the performance index, Ferrari second and Mercedes third. Then you've got Racing Point in fourth, who has overtaken us for fourth. We are fifth with Williams in sixth. Now, guys, those top 6 teams, the cars are so fast that literally any one of those 12 cars has the capability to win a Grand Prix if they get to the lead. So the season just got absolutely crazy. This is going to be a crazy weekend. Tighten your seatbelt because you are in for a wild ride. Let's head straight into qualifying.
The circuit has rubbed it in with practice, but this is still a difficult session as our drivers fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying for the French Grand Prix. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Guys, jumping straight into qualifying to the end of Q1. We unfortunately had to do 2 runs in Q1. You guys know the AI are quite OP here at France, so it was a very tough first session. We come up P11, and as you guys see, with our car shorting the engine power, our poor teammate Romain Grosjean, like the entire season so far, is not pulling his weight, and he is out in Q1. But guys, I honestly have to say, I could felt the lack of power that we had to the other teams. Of those top 6 teams, our car is the least powerful, so we still, because our major upgrade failed, we couldn't jump a few of them. So the 2 minors went on the car, but the major upgrade that we desperately needed just didn't go on the car. Guys, luckily I'm gonna snip qualifying a bit short thanks to the video being so long. So you guys are not gonna see a full lap of the France circuit this qualifying. We're just gonna run through qualifying as quick as we can. Don't forget to drop a like if you've liked what you've seen thus far, and if you like my enthusiasm. Yeah. Guys, heading to the end of our final lap in Q2. Brand new set of tires, the only set of tires we have left. Around the final corner, the car is very understeered through that final corner for some other reason. Open up the throttle, open up DRS, and we come across the line, and it's going to be P... Oh, 11. Oh boy. And we are out by a long shot. We are out by 0.4 of a second. Okay. And the 5 teams that are...
Obviously, I expected a better session, but these things happen from time to time. Try to make up for it in the race.
That's the idea. What I wanted to say was the other 5 teams that are competing with us in the performance chart are all in Q3. That shows you guys how close it is. But without further ado, let's head to the French Grand Prix.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2019 French Grand Prix. Reintroduced to the Formula One calendar just last year after an absence of almost 3 decades. The circuit, Paul Ricard, where racing legends such as Alain Prost gave us some Turn 1 excitement before Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel and a commanding victory from Lewis Hamilton gave us a brilliant race last year. What, I wonder, will it have in store for us this season? Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The two halves of the long Mistral straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. And with me, as usual, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about O'Connor. That was a great podium in the last race, so can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs, so it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position. Today, we have Norris and George Russell, O'Connor, Butler, Kimi Räikkönen and Magnussen, Stroll, Grosjean, down to Albon, Pay. It's time to go down to the track.
We're not starting where we wanted. We'll need to fight our way up the grid today.
I know that, Jeff. I know that. That's what we're going for. The very, very basic one-stop strategy, guys. You guys know France has a thing with the traffic if you come out at the wrong time out of the pit lane, and that is what I'm banking on for the other AI today. I hope I'm going to have the most clean race possible. But guys, please enjoy the formation lap, and you know the drill. Jam with me!
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Guys, are you guys ready for a cracking French Grand Prix? I'm not giving away any spoilers. 5 red lights and it's go, go, go for the French Grand Prix. Grand Prix. The two Mercedes on the front row, followed by the two Ferraris and the two Red Bulls, who are side by side on the second and third row. Into the first corner, it's Valtteri Bottas who's got the inside, and he squeezes off his teammate to take the lead of the French Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is in P2, with Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, the two youngsters at Ferrari, battling very hard for P3. It is very close as far. The two Racing Points in the background are also side by side with one another, while I am battling with the two Williams cars. Max Verstappen gets the run on Charles as they head through the very tight first sector. Now heading on to the very, very long and top speed friendly back straight here at France. I can't remember the name of the straight, guys. Sorry. We're just going to call it the back straight for today. Charles Leclerc trying to mount a move on his very fast teammate Max Verstappen, who at this stage is looking like one of the championship favorites. Heading into the very tight chicane. Charles is now on the inside for the second part, outside for the third part, but he will be on the inside for the flat out right-hander that we have coming. The two Red Bulls are also sniffing around the two Ferrari gearboxes to see if they can get away past. Max hangs around the outside with Charles on the inside. Now we've got this very fast sweeping double right-hander. Well, it's actually basically a hairpin, but it feels like a double right-hander if you take a certain line through there. There we go. It's a double apex. Here we go now into the left-handed. Max tries to squeeze Charles, but to no avail. Charles keeps his car's front nose in there. These two Ferraris are battling very hard, and they need to stop it because that is giving these two Mercedes the chance to bolt away. They have already created about a 2.5 second gap, so the Ferraris really need to stop this, and Mattia Bonotto needs to tell his drivers to calm it down a bit. But I don't think these two youngsters are able to do that because they are both hungry young drivers wanting a championship in their back pocket. Max finally gets past Charles, and now let's see if Max can get after chasing those two Mercedes. We can now finally jump back to our POV for our start, guys. You guys can see I had a good initial launch, but once again bogged in second and third gear. Heading into the first corner, I catch the first Williams of George Russell, a little bit of napping as I get a little bit of an oversteer halfway through the corner. Then we are now, that promotes up into P10 as we are chasing after Lando Norris in the second Williams and the two Racing Points of Sergio Perez and Lucas Weber. I'm side by side with Lando Norris heading through the very tight section before we go onto the straight. I have a little bit of a kiss there on the rear end of the Racing Point car. I'm not sure of whose Racing Point it was, but now we are ahead of the Williams car, now chasing after the two Racing Point cars. This is where my car is going to struggle a lot with straight line speed. Guys, look at the speed of the Williams of Lando Norris. I go to the side, I see the red proximity arrow just a little bit too late. Luckily we don't make contact heading into the corner. Halfway through the corner we do, but I keep the position. This is P9. Now we're chasing after Sergio Perez and Lucas Weber as they are scrapping very, very hard. Perez on the outside, Weber on the inside. They take the fast sweeping right-hander, and it is actually Weber who is on the inside. But for this next corner, I have a very, very bad entry line. Luckily, I get the car turned in as quick as possible, and Weber is in P7, Perez in P8, and if the four cars ahead of them keep fighting, we will be able to catch up to the two Ferraris and the two Red Bulls. That is what I'm hoping for. That is what I am banking on. So we'll see what happens as this race goes on. Now coming to the end of the first lap, guys. Let's see if we can get onto the back of these two Racing Points. The AI are extremely, extremely strong in Sector 3.
You're
so
raising the energy deployment limit and losing. Understood, copy that.
Thank you, Jeff. I know that. Don't state the obvious when I'm in such a stressed position. And once again, I am so mean with Jeff. It's not been funny as I get a track extension warning there coming out of the first corner. We need to watch ourselves for the rest of this Grand Prix. It is so easy to exceed track limits here at France, and we do not want a penalty. That is the last thing we want. So guys, now jumping on to the end of lap 3, the start of lap 4. There's an engine failure for Lucas Weber. Oh my soul. Just what Lucas did not need. He was in a heated battle with his teammate and the two Red Bulls. That is just pure pity for the youngster. My former F2 teammate is out of the French Grand Prix. Now heading on to the end of lap 4, guys. This is the POV of Pierre Gasly, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check the numbers. Yes, it is Pierre on the rear end, underneath the gearbox, I should say, of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Max has broken away from this group just slightly. Now chasing after the two silver arrows. It is Max and Pierre. Charles and Pierre side by side, and now Sebastian Vettel is sniffing a move here on his teammate. He has the inside for this very tight left-hander into an immediate, more than a 90-degree right actually. And now it is still, I think Sebastian actually got the move done there. I talked so quickly I forgot to keep an eye on the cars. Yes, you can make that mistake. That's called excitement, guys. but the two Mercedes are battling very hard, and Lewis Hamilton is mounting a move for the lead of the French Grand Prix, but Valtteri is having none of it. It is Bottas v Hamilton heading into the flat out right-hander with a full amount of race fuel. Hamilton is in the lead as they head to the right-hander. I nearly said left-hander, but it is now Lewis Hamilton leading the way in this French Grand Prix with Max Verstappen in P3. As you guys see, coming to the end of that lap, Max actually dives it into the pit lane. The soft tires here in France wear really quickly. He is strapping on a set of medium tires as he gets held up in the pits just slightly by the only remaining racing point of Sergio Perez. That is going to cost Max. Hopefully he has one stonking out lap. Perez also opts for the medium tires, so that is actually quite interesting. Now heading on to the middle of lap 6, if I'm not mistaken. It's only later on from when Max pitted, and it is now Valtteri Bottas trying to retake the lead of the French Grand Prix that he lost from Lewis Hamilton. Guys, this is actually a carbon copy of the move that Lewis made, but is Lewis going to fight as hard? Well, even harder than Valtteri did, and it is just not possible. Valtteri takes back the lead in a carbon copy move of how Lewis took the lead from Valtteri. GG's Valtteri. Lewis has a little look into this very tight right-handed hairpin corner, but Valtteri just shuts the door in his face. Now heading on to the end of that lap, guys, this is the Red Bull of, is it Sebastian Vettel or Pierre Gasly? We will see now, but I think it is Sebastian, if I'm not mistaken, the former world champion who has not had the return to Red Bull that he really badly wanted. It's the white helmet, so it is Sebastian going on to a set of medium tires, going out just ahead of the Williams of, I think that's Lando Norris. Yes, it is Lando Norris, but now we are searching for Max Verstappen. There we go, we found Max. Will Max still be ahead of the Red Bull? I think he will be, because he had a very good gap before the pit stop phase that I don't think the hold up at the pits cost him that much, and I am correct. So Max is still ahead of the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel. I think Sebastian is so hungry for a race win this season, he can basically die of frustration. Guys, now we see the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton diving into the pit lane the very end of the next lap. Valtteri stays out, and Charles Leclerc is actually following Lewis into the pit lane, and they are actually opting for the soft compound tires, so they are going for a double soft stint and hopefully onto a set of mediums to end this Grand Prix. So those two are going highly aggressive, unlike Max and Sebastian. This race is getting very interesting really quickly. There's Lewis. Where is Max? There's Max. Will Max be ahead of Lewis Hamilton? Has he jumped the Mercedes driver? There is Lewis's car exiting the pit lane. It's going to be very close heading to the first corner as they nearly run into one another. It was nearly a repeat of what happened back at Spain. Luckily, Max knew where the brake pedal was this time around. So that is now Max just behind Lewis, and he is really quickly going to try and mount a move on his championship rival. Well, one of his championship rivals. Guys, at the end of the next lap, it is Valtteri's turn to dive into the pit lane, and Mercedes are opting for the same strategy for both their cars. A double soft stint, hopefully onto mediums come the end of the Grand Prix. Valtteri gets held up a little bit by the Red Bull of Pierre Gasly, but Pierre Gasly opts for the hard compound tires. Guys, does this mean Pierre Gasly is going to the end of the Grand Prix? If it is, he is going to be a major contender for the win here today. He's not going to be slow these first 7-8 laps until the other drivers make their second pit stops. But if he's not pitting again, he's saving about 25 to 28 seconds in the pit lane. And it's a long pit lane here at France. So it can be close to 30 seconds that he's saving. So that's a massive gamble, but it might just score Pierre Gasly a win here today at the French Grand Prix in front of his home crowd nevertheless. But as you guys see, now it is myself that has been released into the lead as I'm on another strategy from mediums to hards. So I'm just going a little bit longer than Pierre, and I am under pressure from the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen and the McLaren of Devon Butler. This is a heated battle, and guys, I just didn't feel like I had the same pace as these guys in the second and third sectors. I had the first sector, but the second and third sectors, I couldn't match them at all. So that was very frustrating, as my teammate is also in a heated battle with a Renault Toro Rosso and the second McLaren of Lance Stroll. But guys, jumping back onto the POV of Charles Leclerc, who is mounting a move on the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas is behind these guys, so Valtteri did not have the best pit experience here at France for is the end of his first stint. It is Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton side by side, heading towards the third corner here at France. It is Charles on the inside for the first part, Lewis on the inside for the second part, and now for the tight right-hander, it will be Charles on the inside. I think Charles got the move done there. We are jumping back to our POV to see if we are still able to defend from Kimi Räikkönen and Devin Butler. And at this stage, we are. Let's run back to Max and Charles and all these guys. Guys, look at Max Verstappen! That Ferrari is flying here today. He makes a double move around the outside of the Renault and the Toro Rosso. And now it is Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel fighting hammer and tong. Oh my soul, guys, I have a feeling this is only the beginning of a lot of chaos here at France. So I'm quickly going to take a sip of water before what happened to me in the previous video happens again and I run out of breath and out of voice. Okay, I'm back. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm still under pressure from Kimi Räikkönen, taking a very wide line through the final corner to get a blisteringly quick exit. And now Kimi can do nothing on the home straight because I just bridged that DRS gap that I need. And now it is very, very close. Max is trying to make a move on the second Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi as his teammate Charles Leclerc is overtaking a Toro Rosso. I think it is Alexander Albon in the Toro Rosso. And here you guys see it's very tight heading through the first chicane between Antonio Giovinazzi and Max. And Antonio is actually fighting increasingly hard. I think Max is very frustrated in that cockpit. As Lewis Hamilton has a massive moment with Daniel Ricciardo. They have a little bit of wheel banging there. Guys, it looked like Lewis's race is going to the wolves. He is not having as much luck as the two Ferrari drivers and his teammate. Also, Sebastian Vettel is actually having not too bad of a race. As I defend once again from Kimi Räikkönen in the Alpha. But now Devin Butler is also trying everything in his power to get past the Alpha of Kimi so he can pressure me. Devin does seem to have better pace than Kimi. Kimi just isn't letting him pass. Here you guys can see I'm running through the car so you guys can see where they are. Remember the two Mercedes? Hamilton is the white gloves, Valtteri is the blue gloves. And this is absolutely crazy at the moment as Charles is now trying to mount a move on Antonio Giovinazzi where Max got past Antonio on the straight before the chicane. So guys, just try and keep up with what's happening because for me as one person alone, it is already hard to keep up with what's going on here in this absolutely crazy Grand Prix. And we are only going to start lap 12! Oh my soul, and the video is already 22 and a half minutes in. Okay, it is fine. We just have to keep going, guys. Oh my soul, heading into the first chicane. I'm ahead of Kimi. When are they pitting? They're on the same strategy as me, so they're pitting around about the same time as I am. But here we finally have Charles Leclerc trying to get past Antonio Giovinazzi at the same spot where his teammate Max couldn't get past. And it's a very... How is that Alpha so fast in a straight line? As soon as they come out of the first corner, the Alpha just says bye-bye. Oh my soul. And now Valtteri Bottas is side by side with Charles Leclerc. This whole thing with the back markers mixing with the front runners, in my opinion, there are no midfield runners in this series anymore. We've got the front runners, the top 6 teams, and the back markers. And with the two mixing, this is making it very, very hard for the front runners to drive a consistent race. And I think the front-running drivers that opted for the second set of soft compound tires are the smart ones because they are able to get past these guys in the quickest possible fashion. Now, but I say that, and Max is in the lead of this whole group, of the leading group. So as you guys see, it's still Valtteri and Charles side by side as Valtteri goes for a major dive up the inside of the third sector hairpin corner. Now it's going to be Charles who's got the inside for the second part as we're trying to go back to our POV to see what's going on with our race. As Kimi Räikkönen has dived into the pit lane. Sorry, I wrongly corrected myself and then corrected myself again. Sorry about that. But now, Kimi's into the pit lane, so that means it's time for me to answer, and we are boxing the end of the next lap. We will be boxing. As Kimi gets held up by one of the Toro Rossos, that's good news for me. And now we rewind back to the battle between Charles and Valtteri. Oh, this race is absolutely nuts. Now we've got Valtteri on the inside of the final corner. Who's going to have the power? Mercedes or Ferrari? Ferrari at this stage of the season have got the better engine, but Valtteri is absolutely pushing like a madman. Neither of them have DRS for some other reason. It's a drag race to the first corner as Valtteri nearly exceeds track limits. He's on the outside, now on the inside, and he gets the move done, which both the Ferraris could not get done on Giovinazzi. He makes the move stick on Charles Leclerc. A beautiful move, and now even Sebastian Vettel is sniffing around the goods of that whole group there. Now it is Devin Butler right behind me. Will I be able to defend from Devin? I think he's just a little too far back to do anything about me at this stage. Remember guys, my in lap is always a very fast lap. I bumped the car up to 11 and we just put foot in the right hand corner. As you guys see, this is Sebastian Vettel making a move on Antonio Giovinazzi, and now it is once again Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas battling away. I do not even know for what position it is because the field is so completely mixed. It's just for a position. It is somewhere in the top 5, a net P5 position, round about there. In any case, they are side by side to the very fast sweeping right-hander, and now Charles has the inside for the hairpin, and he will stay ahead of that Mercedes. And now we are jumping to our POV. Will Devin Butler follow me into the pit lane? Yes, he absolutely will, as he almost runs into the back of me. Thank goodness my car ghosts because it's the pit entry. Oh no, my teammate is in behind me. Okay, I just ruined Roman Grosjean's race. That's my mistake. Sorry, Roman, but I'm trying to get points for my championship here. We come out ahead of Devin Butler, so we keep that position. Now we need to worry about Kimi, guys. There goes the leaders again, but they are pitting again, except the Red Bull of Pierre Gasly. Here you guys see I exit the pit lane, and we are basically best of the rest behind Pierre Gasly. But guys, remember, Pierre Gasly is not pitting. Literally every single car ahead of Pierre Gasly is going to dive into the pit lane again. So we are basically in a net P2. And what did I say? Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton is diving into the pit lane for I hope they are going on to mediums. Charles is going on to the mediums and Lewis as well. And Lewis is going to jump Charles in the pit lane. Charles gets held up by the Williams and then held up by Lewis exiting his pit box. So that is Charles one position down, but I'm sure Charles is going to be on the gearbox of that Mercedes pretty soon. Jumping back to the action here with Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas as the just later on in that very same lap that Lewis and Charles pitted. Side by side, heading through the middle sector chicane at the end of the long straight, the long back straight. And now, side by side, who's got the power? Mercedes or Red Bull as we head into the very fast sweeping right-hander. I just love saying that. Valtteri gets defends his position successfully from Sebastian. And here we go, guys, we're running back to see where is Charles and Lewis. And there we are. Charles is fighting very hard with Lewis and he is really trying to get ahead of this Mercedes, and I do not blame him. This is all for very critical championship points. Even though Charles is not in the championship, it's still a long season, and if he really has a good rest of the season, he can get himself into the championship fight. Oh my soul, my throat is so dry. Guys, Valtteri dives it into the pit lane and he lets go of Max and Sebastian. So let's see, Valtteri is opting also for the medium tires, running to the end of the Grand Prix. Myself and Gasly will pass them. There you guys can see, here's my POV with Devin Butler still on and tucked up underneath my gearbox. Here is Charles Leclerc. Here is the important part. Has the battling that Charles and Lewis have been doing affected them? And yes, it has. There comes Valtteri out of the pit lane, and he has jumped both. Obviously, I think Valtteri was ahead of Lewis, but not ahead of Charles. So he has jumped Charles. And the end of the very next lap, now we've got Max Verstappen diving it into the pit lane with probably the most beautiful helmet on the grid. I have to say that. Is it going to be Max leading the way of the top 6 cars, or is it going to be Gasly? Is it going to be Max? Is it going to be Lewis? I don't know. As Max gets held up by the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel, what is happening in this French Grand Prix? It is action on action on action, and the action just keeps escalating because now we're running to the end of the Grand Prix. Here we jump onto the leading Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Where's Max? There's Max! There's Max! So Max will come out ahead of Valtteri. So it is Max, Valtteri, Charles, and then Lewis. And where's Sebastian Vettel? There's Vettel. Okay, my teammate Roman Grosjean is stuck up in this group. But Vettel has jumped Charles and Hamilton. Oh boy, I'm not keeping up with what's happening here! In any case, now this is Sebastian Vettel mounting a move on Lance Stroll, if I'm not mistaken. I think that is Lance. So that is a very clean move from Sebastian. Now it's Charles going around the outside of a Renault. And these guys are going to be pushing like crazy to try and get past all these back marker cars. And that is just giving me and Devin Butler the chance to keep extending our gap. But we are actually fighting so hard. This is the very next lap where Devin is going for a move on the inside. Guys, Pierre Gasly has absolutely checked out. Pierre Gasly is leading this Grand Prix by an absolute Texas mile. And he is on the verge of winning in front of his home crowd and also winning his first Grand Prix in Formula 1. And what a better place to do it than in your home country. But guys, the battling is still going on fierce, and I've still got like 7 minutes to talk. I should have taken a bigger sip of water when I had the chance, but it's okay. Now we have Sebastian Vettel battling with Max Verstappen and the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Where's Lewis? Lewis is absolutely gone. There's Charles behind them. What has happened to Lewis? I'm actually not complaining because he is the leader of the championship. And as far, he has looked absolutely freaking unbeatable this season. But hopefully, somebody has gotten their hands on Lewis's kryptonite. In any case, once again, I am defending from Devon. So now that these guys are battling, we are battling as well. But I know the Mercedes, the Ferrari, and the Red Bull, which are so close in the performance index, they have better pace than us, even if they are battling. So as you can see there, that is Kimi Raikkonen in front of them, who's also driving a brilliant race for Alfa Romeo. As now Max, Valtteri, and Sebastian, the two guys that swapped cars in the beginning of the season, Sebastian and Max, are fighting with the runner-up of the previous season. So this is basically the three best drivers on the grid for the season, battling in the top three cars. This is absolutely awesome. But Max at this stage is coming out on top. But don't throw Valtteri and Sebastian away. Vettel won the previous championship for a reason, and Valtteri was runner-up for a reason. Now, guys, Devin Butler is still giving me the absolute worst time. I just can't seem to get out I can't get out of DRS, and that is what is keeping him within reaching distance of me. As you guys see now, we are on the POV of Sebastian Vettel. Now on to Charles Leclerc's POV. Back to Valtteri's as he is trying to mount a move on Max Verstappen, heading into the very, very fast first corner. They are still side by side heading through the corner. Max and Valtteri as they head down this little kinky straight into the next right-hander. They are busy chasing down Kimi, but Max goes around the outside. And now Vettel has outbroken the Mercedes and he is trying to move on the outside. It is clear that the Red Bull has got a very, very reliable chassis underneath it, and that it is giving Mercedes and Ferrari a hard time here at France today. Now we've got Devin Butler once again trying to mount a move on me into the chicane. He doesn't go for a move on that time. I do not know why. He was literally underneath my car, I swear. Now Charles is trying to go for a move on Sebastian. Valtteri is once again pressuring Max. And as these guys are busy chasing down Kimi Raikkonen, I think Kimi is just like, what the hell am I going to do with all four of these cars trying to pressure me when they eventually catch up to me? Now it is Valtteri once again. So it's Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari. And I do not know. It's a Red Bull leading the race, guys. Pierre Gasly is absolutely giving us a lesson on how to drive at Le Castellet. And then Hamilton is nowhere. So Gasly is checking out. Hamilton is nowhere. And the other four are just battling like absolute crazy people. Now it's once again Devon trying to mount a move on myself as Kimi and the other guys are catching us because we are battling non-stop. Let's rewind a bit to go back to the very same straight on the very same lap. Now it is Max trying to go for a move on Valtteri as Valtteri goes for a move on the Alpha of Kimi Raikkonen, and he gets past as Kimi blocks the way for Max because he went defensive for Valtteri. But that is now Valtteri up into P4. Kimi is P5, Max P6, Sebastian P7, and P8 is Leclerc. So guys, basically when these cars catch up to us from 2nd to 8th, it's gonna be literally everybody's gonna be driving. And why is there a virtual safety car? It's yellow flags, virtual safety car. What has happened? As we check the McLaren of Lance Stroll, and there's some sort of mechanical issue as two cars nearly run into the back of him. Oh my soul. Lance, you can't just swerve in the middle of racing, my man. Guys, we are on lap 24 of 27 here at the French Grand Prix, and Devin Butler is still coming after me as if I'm a little stupid, innocent little buck, and he is the lion. But my former Formula 2 rival is not just going to get past me this easily. In interviews, I've always said, everybody who has not had experience with Devin's aggressive driving style, just go faster to stay ahead of him. And now that is what we are exactly trying to do. But now I realize how hard it is to go faster when the guy behind you is actually the faster one. Rewind again to go back to the straight. Max got past Kimi as on the home straight alongside the pit lane, and now Max is going for a move on Valtteri. He just scolded Valtteri on the straight there. That Ferrari must have been turned up to 11. Now we've got Sebastian Vettel going past Kimi Raikkonen, and Charles Leclerc is probably going to be the next car. He goes to the outside. There's the outside, inside, I don't know. He goes to the right side, and now Valtteri is getting back at Max. Okay, guys, please, can you stop? I'm going to pass out. Oh my soul. Okay, Kimi has officially been removed from this whole train. And now, guys, we head on to I think this is lap 25. And now it is Charles Leclerc under pressure from Sebastian Vettel. I do not know where he got past Sebastian. I unfortunately missed that. But his teammate is still battling with Valtteri as he is battling with Sebastian. And look there, right in front, guys. That's me and Devin Butler just on the edge of the screen there. Oh my soul, here goes Max to do exactly to Valtteri what Valtteri did to him the previous lap. It's a beautiful sweeping move on the inside of the flat-out right-hander. And as you guys see, Butler is still pressuring me. It is basically 2-2-2. Turbo v Butler, Max v Valtteri, and Charles v Sebastian. But oh my soul, as we start the final lap of the French Grand Prix, we are 6 cars battling for second place, basically. And now can Devin Butler hold on to get an absolutely amazing and astonishing podium here for McLaren at France? I don't think if Max Verstappen and Valtteri has got anything to say about it, but I just need to hope that they battle and I get away on this final lap. We are going to stay with these guys for the entirety of the final lap to see what happens here. We are going onto the backstretch for the very final time. 27 laps of absolute nuttiness, of absolute chaos here in France, as Max is absolutely schooling Devin Butler. These last 5 laps, Max has really turned up that Ferrari to 11. You guys can see I am pushing like an absolutely stabbed rat. I am throwing the entire kitchen out there. I'm not just throwing the kitchen sink, I'm throwing everything in there. I have to make sure I stay ahead of that Ferrari. He's on a softer compound and in a faster car. So Max takes P3, Devin P4, Sebastian Vettel has taken P5. The number 5 cars at P5 ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc. I think that is just going to be a further thorn in the side for an absolutely terrible day for Mercedes. They started on the front row. I don't even know where Lewis Hamilton is, but Pierre Gasly is going to take the win at his home Grand Prix. Get in there, Pierre. You guys know I've got a soft spot for Gasly, so get in there, Gasly. And we are just, by the skin of our teeth, going to hold on to a very, very well driven P2 as we take P2 here in France.
So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to O'Connor. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Great work this weekend. It was fantastic to see you up on that podium.
Guys, this video is already so long. I'm skipping the interviews with Claire. I'm skipping everything. It's already a plus 40-minute video. Guys, what an absolutely epic Grand Prix. I am literally sweating like a waterfall. That was absolutely awesome. We've got a new contract and stuff's looking juicy here for us at Rich Energy Horse Racing.
All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
Thank you, Claire. No, not Claire. Emma. Guys, that has been this video. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, please leave a like on the video. I highly appreciate that. If you've really liked what you've seen today, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ding that bell to always be up to date with what's going on here on YouTube. And finally, share this video with your friends. I will give you a future shout out in the video. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Thank you for staying here for 41 minutes. You guys rock. I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!